together.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well,
and I always do 3 because you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I was like, I was gonna put this audio like on KTSW, but I guess not anymore.
Yeah, that really matters there.
Oh no. Yeah, I just ended up transcribing it and I was like, they said this.
Okay. So I'll just start off by saying everything that I wanted to talk about, just so like you're prepared.
Thank you.
So there's like 3 different segments.
Okay.
Sort of first about your life in general, like growing up and all that.
Oh,
Then
God.
about the book, which is the most important part.
Oh goodness.
And then your family, your friends, your collegiate life, kind of.
Okay.
So those are the 3 main ones, but I figured we'd start with the book, just because that's the most important part.
Oh.
So act as if I haven't read it, and I know nothing about it. Tell me about your book. And we're talking about the fan fiction one.
So which one? There's
Lights, because that's your biggest one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that...
God. Well, so we're gonna have to backtrack
Okay.
a little bit in my life. So, what year was that? I started listening to One Direction like 2012.
Take Me Home album.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just go by
Yes.
albums.
Yes, I was like in middle school or something. And I don't remember if I got into like, I think my friend, it was Celine, was into it, and then she was like, you should listen to them, and then like I was bored during like Christmas break or something, and I was like, Video Diaries, mistakes. I lost a good years of my life. But and then going end of 8th grade, going into freshman year of high school, my best friend Tess and I, we started reading fan fiction. So you have like, I think we read Dark, and then we read After.
Classic.
The classic ones you gotta read. I think like Knight in Leather Armor was one of them.
I never heard of that one.
Oh, but that's actually like,
Nice.
I reread it and I was like, wow, she's a really good writer, but like her storyline's kind of ooh. And then we were like, we could do this. Let's do one. And then we started writing Lights, and it started as like I write one chapter, she'd write one chapter, and we'd go and edit each other's stuff and like edit it so it was cohesive. And then I became more of like the ideas, and she became more of the writing. So I don't even know why that happened. I think she had more time than I did because I was involved with a lot of extracurriculars.
What did you say her name was? Her name's?
Tess.
Tess.
Yeah, and
Her
then she went on.
What's her last name?
She's gonna kill me. Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me. Gellert. Gellert.
I love it.
She's gonna literally kill me.
Pretty awesome.
She's, I love her. But she goes to Canada. So she goes to school in Canada. She's gonna fight me. She went on to write like Phantom and Hidden. I was like, what's the other one? And like she made it big.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Like if you go on like the login screen for Wattpad, her book is still in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like she went on to do great things.
I think those sound familiar, to be honest.
They were really, 2013, the peak of
Yeah.
was like when that happened, and then she ended up leaving and like deleting her account, and everyone's been harassing me about like she got low, and I'm like, she just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And so we started writing Lights, and I think we wrote it the summer, like we cranked that out actually. We wrote it that summer, and then we would just go and like edit as we would post them, and we posted all through freshman year, and then like somehow it became popular, and I'm still not entirely sure how that happened because it was awful. It was trash.
I read it.
I mean, but like in 2013, you're like, wow, this is so original, and then now I'm like, oh my god. I think I put in the summary, I was like, please, for the love of God, don't read this.
Yeah, the old one. Right?
Yeah, I was like, read the revised one. And then, God, it's bad. I read it, like, before I started rewriting it, and I was like, oh. It's like, she just went from, like, being normal to screaming, why? Which is, like, a common thing with, like, 2013 fan fiction. That was an era. Like, it's a era. I'm trying to think.
So 2013 was 8th grade for you, or
2000?
ninth grade?
Yeah, it was 8th to 9th grade, and like fall of ish. Because I remember when Story of My Life dropped, I was in the high school cafeteria.
We all remember where we were when things happened.
I mean, it was when the album leaked, and we were all like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
And then, so like after Lights, like she still kept writing with like Phantom and stuff, but like I just stopped. I was heavily involved in like theater, so that ate so much of my time, and like then, you know, life just got in the way. And then 2017, senior year, I wrote a historical fiction for the first time writing since like freshman year. And then I got back into fan fiction because like that's it sounds so bad, but that's where the readers are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a business, but like that's where the readers are. And like the historical fiction did well, and like it was small and it was fine. I'll probably never do one again. It's a lot of research. So much research. And then I started back rewriting Lights because I had read it and I was like, this is so bad. And I was like, I could make this better. And it started kind of as a joke. Like, you'll read like the first few chapters and you'll be like, wow, she was really trying to be funny. And then I was like, okay, well, I can just fix the storyline. Like, there was clear, like, things I thought were really, like, oh my gosh, they're never gonna guess this. In, like, 2013, I was like, wow, they clearly could guess this. So I, like, would fix things. I don't want to, like, say it in case people actually go read it.
Yeah.
Because, but, yeah, I'm still doing it. I meant to finish it, like, this summer, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Life got in the way.
But how would you summarize it to someone who you wanted to read it and had no idea? Like, what's the general...
Well, first I would ask them, don't read the first one. Don't read the original. It's just about, like, two best friends and, like, how blurred the lines can get between, like, loving someone and friendship and, like, kind of just the growth of, like, knowing someone in different ways with, like, a lot of external forces affecting it.
So, the story exists without it being Harry, or...
Oh, I love this question. It's one of my favorites. So, like, you know, there's two forms of fanfiction. There's, like, canon, and there's AU, which is, like, alternate universe.
Right, yeah.
Right, yeah. Canon, the best example I can use is Star Wars. Like, canon would be, so, like, the Clone Wars TV show, that's considered canon to, like, the whole franchise. Because, I don't even know. Whereas, alternate universe was just, like, it's almost like you're casting the person in the story. Like, yes, they share, like, physical characteristics and names, but, like, they just exist. Like, he might not have the same parents' names. He might not even be from England, and it's just, yeah, it's more of like casting him in that role as a character. I think that's the best way I can explain it to you.
Yeah.
And so that's what, like, Lights is, because, 2013 was, like, the turning point where people would stop writing where he was, like, in the band and start writing, like, actual fiction. And so that was, like, the big thing to do, was just to make this whole other world kind of thing. Some people did it better than others. I did not do it well. Oh, now I feel like I did it better, but...
I think you did it better than a lot of people.
I reread After recently, and ooh.
Yeah, the original one was...
The original one's rough, and then I read, like, the actual published book, and I was like, you're still a little rough, but, like, I see where you're going.
It's a lot better, but it's not...
It's not, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, like...
Like, I'm a big fan of it, but I see how it's not...
And that's, like, the troublesome with, like, AU is, like, you don't want it to affect the person that you're casted in that role. So, like, I know that people were really worried when she published that it would reflect on Harry badly, which is, like, understandable considering his character in that book. I'm trying to think what was. I read another fan fiction. It's called like Daddy Issues, which like sounds horrible. It's not. It's like not the moral of the story. It's so good though, and it like I've never read a piece of literature written that beautifully before. Like her symbolism and motifs are so pretty, and but at the end of her story, she basically was like, I'm never gonna publish this because I don't want it to reflect badly. And I'm like, it really wouldn't, but like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, respect your position. And I don't think I'll ever publish Lights, but like with the other ones that I've spent more time like formulating. I feel like I could. Like, I'm thinking of publishing one right now.
Which one?
Well, Bleeding Hearts.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna buy. I'm the first person to buy.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to ask 2 questions. I'll try to remember not to forget. The first one, why, like I know you're a fan of One Direction, but specifically, why?
Why Harry?
Yeah.
God, I don't even know. You know, it's like you love all of them, but you just have that one that you would like, I'd let you hit me with a truck. Like, you could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And like, at least for my like 13-year-old brain, that was, I mean, he still can't do no wrong, and I'm like 19 years old. But like, he was just like the one that I gravitated towards, like most people did. But him and Niall were like, him and Niall were like my 2 that I was like, okay.
Because there's a lot of people, like my professor has no idea, none of the people in my class, because we all had to like present our ideas, they had no idea. So it's like trying to get them to understand the world because they had never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's like, I wrote a whole paper freshman year on it, and my professor was like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But it's basically like this social stigma surrounds it, because people are like, oh, you write fan fiction or you read fan fiction, and I'm like, but like some of the best stories I've ever read have been on that website.
Me too.
Because like, yeah, they're unpublished, but like, people are genius. It's the best way I can like say it. Like, I think I've read better books on that website than I've ever read published, aside from like a select few, like Sandra Clare. I love her. Oh, I have her books right there.
Oh,
her series.
I didn't know her name, but I recognize the series.
She's so good.
Okay, and then my other question is about the one you do want to publish. Tell me about that one.
So, it actually started again as a co-written book. But this time it had like the opposite effect. Tess and I started hanging out because she was involved in yearbook and I was involved with Peter, so we had very separate, and our school was just huge, so like we never saw each other. Yes. And so senior year, after like graduation, well, it's not even senior year anymore then. Like after graduation, like in the summer, we started like hanging out again before she like left to school and before I left to school. And she was like, she missed writing, and so I'm like, well, why don't you come back and just write something? And so she came back for like probably like 3 months and then deleted her account again. But we started like thinking about the story, and originally she wanted to write a story, like a psychological thriller, and like that's hard to do. That's not my field. And so we brainstormed like this idea, and it was this whole concept of dreams. We dabbled in like an idea of like reincarnation, but that never actually happened. And then I was like watching like Grey's Anatomy or something, and it was like a heart transplant thing, and I was like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if like her memories came from her heart transplant or something? And I kind of was like, that's stupid, like that doesn't happen. And then my mom's an ICU nurse, so I was like at lunch one day, and then I was like, yeah, I had this idea, but like, you know, that doesn't happen. She goes, that's a thing. And I was like, what? It's called cellular memory.